Hello, I'm Michael. I study Maths, Geography and English Literature at A-level.
And I'm Sarah, and I study Maths, English Literature and IT at A-level. We interviewed Mrs Riley about her childhood in post-war Burnley.
We took part in the project because we thought it was fascinating to learn stories from other generations and how they were passed down.
Hope you enjoy the video.
Yes, I'm Mrs Riley and I live in a small village of Great Harwood. I was born just as the war broke out, 1939. My mother wouldn't let us be evacuated to a place in Essex, to a family in Essex. And so my mother came back to Lancashire, where her mother lived in Burnley. When we moved into this house, which was it was derelict, so much so it had no door on, but we just couldn't get a house because it was wartime. And not just because of that, my father had to go in the army to fight for his country. So my mother came back with two daughters and we had to struggle through the best way we could. My mother not having anyone to rely on, because I fell on the fire, sat on the fire when I was 2 years old, and my mother wrapped me up in a blanket and took me to the hospital at Burnley. And really the biggest part of my life when I was younger was dominated with that around me, having been burnt so badly. It stopped a lot of my studies, having to come out of school, and be in hospital. I slept with my sister, and as she got older she wanted a bedroom of her own, and with there being 4.5 years between us, so Mum said, well, Doreen, I'll have to go in our bedroom. So she put a rope or something across, and I slept in a little space in my mother's and dad's bedroom with a curtain across. So my sister had her bedroom to herself because I used to wet the bed a lot, and my sister were fed up with it, and I think that would put that down to falling on the fire. But when we were younger and we slept in one bed, my mother and dad in the other room, John and I used to play games of making patterns, finding patterns on the ceiling, because everything was whitewashed. For Christmas we used to get stencil sets, and I can remember stenciling on the wall and doing little butterflies and making patterns with this stencil set. My dad was French polisher and could make things as well. He was a cabinet maker, and of course he used to make doll's furniture for me, whereas most families didn't have that. My mother had a gas iron, and actually she nearly gassed me dad one. Anyway, we had to drag him outside, and we were lucky to fetch him round because we'd been breathing the gas in, you see. Whereas my mother were all right because she was moving about, see, but he was sat near the gas pipe and nearly gassed him. No. He probably would have been up for murder. It was my job to take the chambers upstairs. I got to the top of the stairs, of course there's stone stairs and no carpet on them, and like that, you see, and I broke one of them and it went in my arm there, and my mother put a tourniquet on there, turned it round and round to stop the blood, and but we never got it stitched. We never stitched or anything. It was gaping open, she shut it open. But yeah, my friend, when I used to go to my friend's house, they just had jam jars to drink out of, and we did have cups, but they had jam jars, and a lot of people had. Everybody wore pinnies. Everybody had a pinny on to keep the clothes clean, because they didn't. My mother only had 2 changes of clothes, I can always remember Mother having a jumper and skirt, kept it clean for weekend. And Mother made all the clothes. She used to make clothes out of linings, out of coats or whatever. She made all our dresses and things out of lining of the coats. And when we made our first Holy Communion, we didn't have any cotton. My mother used to work in, she was a very talented lady, but she worked in rag shop, because that's all they could do. And she used to pick these pieces of cottons out to make our Holy Communion dresses. I can remember being in St Mary Magdalene's yard playing with friends and my sister, and the war had, I think, just finished in 1946, 45, 46, and we'd been allocated chocolate from America, and we all got a bag of chocolate, a pound of, like Cadbury's chocolate, not solid chocolate, powdered chocolate, and we also got a bag of boiled sweets, and every child was given that, because we just didn't have that sort of and for lunches used to a packet of sugar and oatmeal biscuits that Mother had made, you know. Condensed milk was another. We could get condensed milk, so we used to, when we were playing out, it'd come running in, and we'd want condensed milk butties. Sometimes you come in for a sugar butty. Which sounds revolting, doesn't it? And to go to school on, we had what you call pobbies. We had pobbies made of just plain bread and cut up into squares, and hot milk, a sprinkling of sugar on top, and that was our cereal to go to school on. And the school was spiral staircase, and there was stone steps, and they're all worn down. They'd been, I can remember I have a siren suit on at that particular time. A siren suit being all one suit with a flap at the back, and it had buttons on, 3 buttons at the back, so it were easy to undo the buttons and go to the toilet. The baths, the proper baths, slipper baths they call them, and we'd go there every week, otherwise we just didn't have any baths. We didn't have the tin baths, we just had the sink downstairs, no bathroom, no. And we used to, in the kitchen, we had a geyser, what you call a geyser, which you turned on, and that you got instant hot water, but you were quite well off if you had one of them.